So we can finally say that Liverpool are walking alone, because after their 2-1 loss to Manchester City, it means that there is a possibility that their hopes of winning the Premier League title this season, it's not really likely that they could win the Premier League title this season, because things are not really going on well for Liverpool after their 2-1 loss to Manchester City. But for us now, it looks like that title race are also on course, hoping to make sure that they win the Premier League title this season. But for us now, if they don't win the Premier League title this season, I don't know what is going to happen to Mikel Arteta, because they are grinding the results week in, week out. Manchester City, on the other hand, are making sure that they move up to them toe-to-toe in the English Premier League. But now let's talk about Liverpool and Manchester City, because for the first time in a very long time, Manchester City have completed a double against Liverpool in the English Premier League, beating them in the first round and then the second round. So the first leg, that is the first round at the Etihad, Manchester City won that game, and now the second round at Anfield, Manchester City has won by 2-1. But it doesn't look like things are really going on well for Liverpool, looking at the fact that Arne Slot, their new head coach, is trying to find ways and means to make sure that his team gets the maximum results. But then you're not really seeing the likes of Mohamed Salah in this Liverpool setup. But the big question I'm trying to ask myself is this the time for Mohamed Salah to leave the team? Because he's not really finding his feet this season in the Liverpool setup. Looking at the fact that Liverpool wants to really win an English Premier League title back to back for their fans. But for Manchester City too, they're really doing a good job, because since they brought Antoine Semenyo and then they brought McGay, you could see the kind of changes, the kind of improvements that has happened in their games week in and week out. They are making sure that they match Arsenal toe-to-toe. But for Arsenal too, there is no room for complacency for them, because after their 3-1 win against Sunderland also, now they are still top of the Premier League title. So it's just 4 points between Arsenal and Liverpool at this moment in the English Premier League. For Manchester United, yes, Manchester United, things are really looking good. Just look at me. Because of Manchester United, I'm really looking good, because since Michael Carrick also took over as head coach for Manchester United, they've won about 4 games in a row. Winning 4 games under a new head coach is something all the other Premier League teams should be worried about, because if they keep on winning, possibly Manchester United's Premier League title hopes could come alive. They are already on the 4th position. So at this moment, you can safely say that Manchester United are in the title race at this moment. So this is how it's going when you look at the Premier League table. Manchester United are 4th on the table. Aston Villa follow 3rd after their draw over the weekend. And then Manchester City are 2nd. And then Arsenal are also top of the English Premier League title. So this is how the league table stands in the English Premier League, with the top 4 teams. Manchester United winning against Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester City also beating Liverpool, and Arsenal also defeating Sunderland in that game. So that is it with the top 4 of the English Premier League. But let's talk about the Spanish La Liga, because Barcelona and then Real Madrid, these two teams, they keep winning week in and week out. And I keep saying that if one of these teams drop points on the road, it's really going to change everything. For Atletico Madrid, we can't even talk about them, because over the weekend they lost to Real Betis. So I don't know if I should put them into the title race of the La Liga, because at this moment it's just Real Madrid and then Barcelona. Real Madrid winning by 2-0, and then Barcelona also winning their game also. So Barcelona are still top of the La Liga table, with Real Madrid following on the 2nd position. So it's just 1 point between Barcelona and Real Madrid at this moment in the Spanish La Liga. And so let's see what happens. But I'll be looking at the El Clasico coming up. Hopefully, I want the El Clasico should come. A little slip of point could play a big role in that El Clasico between Real Madrid and then Barcelona, and that will be coming up hopefully in some months to come. But let's talk about the German Bundesliga, because Bayern Munich, they are back to trashing teams just like that. They won their game over the weekend by about 5 goals margins in their German Bundesliga encounter at home. So Borussia Dortmund, on the other hand, also won their game over the weekend. But it looks like Bayern Munich could run away with the German Bundesliga title this season if all things go well for them, because despite the fact that they dropped some points over some time ago, now they are now back to trashing teams. When you talk about teams that are fond of trashing teams just like that, there's always one team that comes in mind, and that has to do with Bayern Munich trashing Hoffenheim by about 5 goals. I mean, this is the kind of result. It's not even a result you should even be a surprise for you when it comes to Bayern Munich, because this is something they keep on doing always when it comes to the German Bundesliga, sometimes too in the Champions League, something they keep doing. So their title hopes, I mean, it's obvious that Bayern Munich could win the German Bundesliga titles if all things go well for them. But then it all also depends on Borussia Dortmund. If they also keep winning their matches, and then hopefully hope that Bayern Munich will drop points along the line. So this is some matches that happened in the German Bundesliga, that is Borussia Dortmund and then Bayern Munich. So at this moment, Borussia Dortmund are second on the German Bundesliga table with 48 points. They are followed by they are followed by Bayern Munich, who are top of the German Bundesliga table with 54 points. So this is a point between German champions, that is Bayern Munich and then Borussia Dortmund at this moment. Now, I'll come back to the French League, but let's talk about the Serie A, because Inter Milan, Napoli, Juventus, and all the other teams are also there in the Italian Serie A. So at this moment, Juventus, they dropped vital points. I mean, Juventus were one team I was looking forward to in this particular season, but dropping points against Lazio in this particular match, I really doubt if they could make it into the top table as to whether they can win the Italian Serie A. But for Napoli, they also did quite a good job, winning by 3-2 against Genoa in the Italian Serie A. For Inter Milan, another trashing moment for Inter Milan, because they trashed Sassuolo by 5-0 in their encounter over the weekend in the Italian Serie A. So at this moment, Inter Milan, they continue to dominate the Italian Serie A. They are still top of the table with 58 points. They are followed by AC Milan with 50 points. Remember, AC Milan has a game in hand, and hopefully if they win this game, they could close the gap at the top. But for Napoli, they are the defending champions of the Italian Serie A. They are on the third position with 49 points, alongside Juventus with 46 points. And then AS Roma follow on the fifth position with 43 points. And so I think I know definitely that Inter Milan will continue to dominate the Italian Serie A week in and week out. I mean, for the other teams, Napoli, if they really want to win back the Italian Serie A back to back again, they need not to drop points along the way. I mean, they don't have to drop points. It's not really a cool thing for Antonio Conte to keep dropping points if they really want to win. But let's see how things go along the way in the Italian Serie A. Finally, let's talk about the French League, because for this particular match, for PSG to win by 5-0 against Olympique Marseille, that should be a strong talking point for PSG and the rest of the teams. I mean, maybe this should finally convince me to say that yes, PSG are now back, because we haven't really been seeing the kind of PSG that we used to know, that we used to see them scoring goals more or less like that. But this time around, they trashed Olympique Marseille by 5-0 in the French League, and hoping sure that they come alive. They make sure that their title hopes for the French League, they continue to dominate the French League, just like they do always in France. So that is how it happened in the French League between Olympique Marseille and PSG. For the Olympique Lyon, they also won their game they also won their game, and then not forgetting Lens also. So these are the two teams that are also chasing, hoping that they win the French League aside PSG. So at this moment, PSG are top of the French League table with 51 points. They are followed by Lens with 49 points. That is just about 2 points between them. They are followed by Olympique Lyon with 42 points, and then Olympique Marseille on the fourth position with 39 points. So this is how the league table stands in the French League after PSG trashed Olympique Lyon by 5-0. So this is our media sports on YouTube and all our social media channels. These are some of the games that has happened in Europe. But which team do you think has been the standout for you over the weekend? Share your thoughts with us on our comment section on YouTube and then on X and the rest of our social media channels. My name is Amos Mama Boy.